Welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I am streaming to you from Budapest, Central Europe. Today we are looking at the IELTS reading for the academic module, strategies to get a band 9. Materials are coming from our websites, aehelp.com for academic version of the test, gieltshelp.com for the general, that's aehelp.com for academic, and gieltshelp.com for the general. Those website students look like this. This is the academic. Click that red button to join. This is the general, the green background. Click that red button to join. And you can use the code LIVE20, LIVE20, for a 20% discount. Hi, Amrit. Hi, Macpreet. Hi, Parvinder. Hi, Philoturk. Good to see so many students joining in. If you have questions, send me an email, Adrian, A-D-R-I-A-N, at aehelp.com. Students, I was watching a little bit of the chat before I started this class, and I saw a couple students talking about there's no strategies for the reading section. I want to say I kind of disagree with that, and I think what you meant, students, is that there are no tricks for the reading section. If you say that there are no tricks for the reading section, I definitely agree. However, there are strategies. So before I get into today's reading lesson, I have a really important question for you. What is the difference between a strategy and a trick? Okay, and I definitely would agree that there are no tricks to the IELTS reading section if you want to get high scores, but there's definitely strategies. So what's the difference between a strategy and a trick? And this is really good when you're studying and searching online for useful information to get those high band scores. Mookie Jesus Baby says, strategy is a technique. Yeah, what do you mean by technique? Amrit says a strategy means you have a useful technique. A trick is a short-term method. Preeti, I wouldn't even say trick is a method. I wouldn't even use the word trick with a method. You're right, I get what you're saying, but Sachin, I like what you're saying. So Sachin says strategy is a systematic plan. Okay, so a strategy, yeah, is a systematic plan which helps to effectively solve problems or answer questions using critical thinking and logic. Absolutely. So that's a strategy. Strategy is not a trick. It's a systematic plan that you can follow that makes sense, and it helps you to effectively solve a problem and answer a question using critical thinking, using logic. Okay? That's what a strategy is. A trick is a shortcut. An illusion. A false method to solve a question. Okay? It is invalid, as opposed to a strategy which is valid. Okay? Now keep in mind, for the IELTS, especially in the reading, there are effective strategies and ineffective tricks. So we'll learn those today. Okay, we're going to look at those today. Anybody know what the most popular ineffective trick is that a lot of lessons and teachers advise students to do? So which one is the most popular trick for reading that doesn't really work for high band scores? Yeah, look at that. All of you are coming up with that answer. It's so interesting. When students try it, they realize eventually that it just doesn't really work, right? So Preeti, Amjad, Pachu, Savan, Abhay, all agreeing with other students that skimming and scanning, it's very popular. A lot of teachers try to tell students to do that, and it's not effective, okay? It's a trick, and it's not effective. Okay, so skimming and searching for words. Okay, it doesn't work. And there's an idiom in English. We say the proof is in the pudding. Okay, the proof is in the pudding. This means that you can see the proof of this. It's not an effective method, okay? Yeah, Amjad says, due to skimming, I failed IELTS. Amjad, I'm so sorry to hear that. I wish you would have found us earlier because I would have told you that that is not an effective method, okay? It wastes time. There's too much paraphrasing, too many inferred questions. You just cannot get a high score by searching for words, especially in the academic version of the test, okay? The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding because if you ask any IELTS teacher, if you take, so you can ask your teacher this, if you take the IELTS exam, would you just skim and scan for answers, or would you actually read the text at least once before answering the questions? And I promise you that any truthful teacher will say that, yeah, of course I'll read the text, and then maybe I might search or skim for some of the answers when I'm doing the questions, but I wouldn't just skim and scan for answers. No teacher would ever use that as a strategy in the reading question, just trying to search for answers by skimming and scanning, okay? So the other idiom that comes to mind is practice what you preach. So only teach what you do, okay? That's why I would never teach students to just skim or scan for answers, because I would never do that in the real exam. If I sit the exam tomorrow, I will read the text, then I will answer, okay? So yeah, reading the passage is absolutely the best, okay? So what is a strategy that does work? Okay. So which is a strategy that's very effective, and many teachers do teach this strategy as well, and this is a strategy, it's not a trick. So reading the whole passage, and what are you looking for in the questions? Okay, answer, reading the passage, and looking for paraphrasing with the questions. Okay, so paraphrasing, critical thinking. Hi, Amarwadi, good to see you in class. Those are the true strategies that will help you get those band scores, especially when you practice it at home. Shushant, strategy is a logical, effective method of understanding and doing to solve a problem or find a solution. That's a strategy. It's an approach. It's your systematic approach to a situation. Okay? Let's do that together. Here we go. Here is our reading passage for today. We will move through it together, nice and slow or nice and smooth, using effective strategies, right? Okay. Yeah, Tina, that would be a more specific strategy with true, false, not given, but absolutely an effective one. Hi, Eugen. Always appreciate those happy emojis. All right. So here is the passage for today. Seismic shifts, silent drifts. Okay, seismic shifts, silent drifts. Not sure what that means, but that's okay. Let's look at the questions. First one, list of headings. Should I read it? Absolutely. It comes before the passage. The IELTS people put the list of headings before the passage because you need to look at these questions before the passage. What is this question? You have to choose the correct option for each paragraph. This passage has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paragraphs. Each one, you can give it a title. You have to decide which title is the best for each paragraph. It's a good idea to read this question before the passage because it's given to you before the passage. It will help you with the passage. Okay? So let's do that. Violent eruptions, magma, lava, and new islands. What is that? What are we talking about for number one? Let's do a quick paraphrase on that. What is number one? Violent eruptions, magma, lava, and new islands? Whoa, that's just a really tricky way to say one word. What is that one word? Thank you, Tina. Volcano. Haung. Yeah, right on. Volcano. Yeah, it's a volcano, right? It's descriptive paraphrasing. This describes the concept of volcanoes, right? Volcano and lava flow. All right. The destruction of Pompeii, the ruin of a city, if you know that Pompeii is a city. Two continents become many. Two land masses divide. You should practice this at home. It will become fast. If you can't do it as well as what I'm doing here, that's okay. Just do your best. Okay, fossil evidence. What's another way to say fossil evidence? How can I say fossil evidence in another way? Okay, Mario Espitia says dinosaur skeleton. And how can you say, Mario, how can you say evidence? What's another way to say evidence? Dinosaur skeleton is okay. Or Tina says dinosaur bones. You just have the S and the E mixed around. Mac Preet says proof. Yeah, sure. Proof from dinosaur bones. Oops. Proof from dino bones. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so again, do your best paraphrasing on this. In your mind, paraphrase while you read. Okay, so an intuitive notion, an inference, for example, would be a good way to paraphrase that. The ring of fire, the rim of the Pacific Ocean, the invisible threat, the unseen danger, right? Unseen danger. Gondwana comes together, a hypothesis of unity, disunity, a mechanism to match the theory as found. Sure, so we did some good paraphrasing there. Pachu, good one. Notion equals idea. Absolutely. All right, so again, at home, paraphrase on paper means state these in your own words. During the official IELTS exam, just simply paraphrase in your mind, okay? So now, if I look at the title again, Seismic Shifts, Silent Drifts, after reading the list of headings, I have an idea that this passage is about the movement of continents. Movement of continents, North America, Asia, Australia, India, Africa. So it's something to do with the movement of continents. I know that it takes millions of years. Why is this important? Earthquakes, volcanoes happen. So I can get that this passage will be about geography. Sana Sohail, absolutely. You're saying it's your favorite subject. Fantastic. So yeah, so I'm getting these ideas. And now I look at the other questions at the end, see if I should read them or not. Do the following statements agree with the information? True, false, not given. Don't read that, okay? Not a good idea to read these. They're confusing. They have false and extra information. 0 point or zero logic to read those. So don't read them. Complete each sentence with the correct ending. So this is sentence completion. Here we have 3 questions, 3 half sentences, 24, 25, 26. And then we have 6 choices. So 3 of these 6 choices will match with these 3 sentences. The choices, there's false and extra information. It's confusing, so I don't read that part. I only read these 3 statements. So 24, plate tectonics result in mountains, volcanoes, and volcanoes result from the difference in. A tsunami can result from a slip in. Okay, fantastic. So I have a little bit of an idea of what I'm reading. I'm calm, confident. I have lots of time. I go back and I start reading each paragraph. I have about 10 minutes to read the passage. If I want to get a band 7, I don't need to understand every word. I don't need to understand every sentence. I need to understand about 70, 75%. Clearly, okay? If I can understand 75% of this passage, I should be able to get a band 7, maybe even 7.5 with some good sound logic and strategy, all right? Mahi, caller, don't worry, I will show you a really effective strategy for true, false, not given when we get there. All right, so let's do this together. Let's start reading. Again, read with me aloud. Students, this is a reading class, so read with me nice and loud, okay? Nice and loud. Here we go. When looking at a map of the world, it is natural to notice that Africa and South America seem to be able to fit together, as if they are 2 parts of a former whole. It was this insight which led Flemish cartographer Abraham Ortelius in 1596 to put forward for the first time the idea that at one period the continents were in different places than they are today. It would take over 300 years for the theory to be fully developed, and 50 years after that for the mechanism of the phenomenon to be discovered. What is this paragraph about, students? So what is paragraph A about? In your own words. My question: what is paragraph A about? Answer: it's not about the history of 2 continents. Nirmaljit says it's an assumption about continents. I like Nirmaljit's answer. I can say this even in a simpler way. Yeah, Pachu says it's about an idea. Okay, so it's a man's assumption about continents. It's a first theory. Sure, okay. It's an idea, right? It says this man, Abraham Ortelius, had an idea that, you know, these continents, they look like they just fit together. Sure, right? So now, If I go back to the list of headings, which one of these choices is the closest to my answer? So if my answer is, this man had this idea that the continents fit together, it seems like they're a good fit, which one of these seems to be the best answer? Amina, this is two continents become many. That's very different from a person having the idea that these fit together. For Doves, Nirmaljeet, absolutely. And Nirmaljeet, I'm not surprised that you chose the correct answer because you had the closest answer. You said that it's a man's idea, or you said it's a man's assumption. Yeah, this word notion is idea or assumption or thought or theory. Okay, so intuitive notion, it's paraphrasing. If you got the answer, it's a person's idea that they fit together or thought, then that's the correct answer. So it's number, Roman numeral number 6. Okay, an intuitive notion. So it makes sense. So 6 is the right answer. Okay, that's the right strategy for a list of headings. You read the paragraph, ask what it's about, answer on your own, match the correct choice to your answer. Does that make sense? Let's keep going. Yeah, Abhay Sharma, you said hypothesis. It's not really of unity and disunity, but it's an idea. Okay. All right. Let's read B. It was not until, again, read with me, students, nice and loud, okay, nice and loud. I want you to read with me. My speed is absolutely okay for the exam to finish in 10 minutes and to get a high score. It was not until 1915 that German geologist Alfred Wegener proposed the continental drift theory, which states that the Earth's crust is made up of many sections that float slowly over the molten mantle and core of the Earth. Wegener argued that in the past, the continents were all stuck together. He called this supercontinent Pangaea, which is Greek for all Earth. Wegener hypothesized that approximately 200 million years ago, this supercontinent began to break up and the pieces began to move away from each other. What is this paragraph about? What is this paragraph about? What is paragraph B about? Question? Now, when you're looking at body paragraphs, usually the first sentence is the topic sentence. It answers the what question. So it was not until 1915 that German geologist Alfred Wegener proposed the continental drift theory, which states that the Earth's crust is made up of many sections. So what is the paragraph about? It's about this man's theory, right? The continental drift theory that says the Earth's crust is made up of many pieces. Okay? Yeah, Nurlan says it's about the theory of the movement of continents. Nurlan, perfect. Okay, that's exactly the right way to summarize this. Okay? So, let's see which one matches. Which one of these choices is closest to saying the theory of continental drift? Which one of these matches the closest? Careful. Okay? It's the topic is the theory. What's another way to say theory? Haung, yeah, very good. It's number 10, hypothesis, right? A hypothesis of unity and disunity. Okay. Hypothesis is the same as theory. Continental drift is the same as unity and disunity. Now, of course, that one is given. So that was a little bit of a mean thing by me, but no, it wasn't, because what I'm showing you is that if you can get the example correct, you know you're using a good strategy, right? So it's your example. Of course, they don't do it for A because that's a little bit more challenging. Same with the conclusion. So they do it for a body paragraph. It's X. It is a hypothesis of unity and disunity. Okay? All right. Let's go to paragraph C. Let's go to paragraph C. Here we go. So now that we are confident in our strategy, this will work well. All right. So C. Initially, Pangaea divided into two parts, named Laurasia and Gondwana. Laurasia consisted of what is today North America, Asia, and Europe, whilst Gondwana comprised modern-day South America, Africa, and Australia. These supercontinents eventually split apart further, resulting in today's continental configuration. It is interesting to note that today's continental alignment is just that. Millions of years in the future, the Earth's continents will appear very different. Given enough time, it is possible that the Earth's land masses will return to a Pangaea-like unified state. What is this paragraph about? What is this paragraph about? In your own words. Give it to me. Amrit says it's about two continents becoming many. Right? Nabiha says it's two continents become many. Yeah. A lot of you are saying that. That's great. Yeah. So Laurasia and Gondwana, those two big ones, right? So Pangaea is the original all Earth, divides into two. Whoop, broke that into two. And then those two become a whole bunch more. North America, Asia, Europe, and so on. Fantastic. Now we just need to see if we have a matching heading. So here we go. Violent eruptions? No. The destruction of Pompeii? No. Two continents become many? Hey, word for word. For some of what you said, or for some of you, number 3 is word for word. And I can see that there's strong agreement there. So in box number 15 on your answer sheet, you put the Roman numeral 3 and you are going to pick up that point. Super. Keep going. D. Here we go. Short and sweet. Read with me. The evidence for continental drift is plentiful. The most common evidence is the discovery of the same type of dinosaurs in extremely different locations. The same type of dinosaur fossil will be found in northeastern parts of South America as well as northwestern parts of Africa. The logical explanation for phenomena such as this is that at one time, these parts of the world were not only connected, but adjacent. What is this paragraph about? Cool One says it's about dinosaur bones. Lovepreet says. Cool One says it's about fossil evidence, right? Tina says it's evidence. Ghost says it's about fossils. Let's put those together. Let's say fossil evidence. So here you have your choices. Drum roll. Number 4, fossil evidence. That is a perfect match, right? Thinking about dinosaur bones, fossil evidence. Number 4 for D. Absolutely. So again, you put the Roman numeral 4 into your answer sheet. You get that correct. Now, students, please, please, please be really careful when you're putting these into your answer sheet. Please don't accidentally do a number 6, okay? This is number 4. Make sure it's in this order, okay? Don't make a silly mistake. Double check if you have to. Okay? All right. Let's keep going. A, B, C, D, E. Here we go. Read with me. The evidence for continental drift was discovered long before an explanation was found. It was during the 1960s that the theory of plate tectonics was developed. This new theory explained fully the nature of the Earth's crust, that it was broken up into many pieces that tended to smack into each other and pull apart from each other. In extreme cases, such as the Indian subcontinent, a plate's movement can be so severe that it causes massive mountains to be formed when the plate hits another. This is precisely what has happened over the past millions of years, with the Indian plate colliding with the Eurasian plate, in the process creating the Himalayas, which include the tallest mountain on Earth, Mount Everest. What is this paragraph about? Pachu says this paragraph is about plate movement. Okay, sure. You can be even more specific than that. Yusfaldin says it's the new theory of explanation. It's the evidence for the continental drift, for plate tectonics. Yeah, those are all some really great answers. So which one matches? Violent eruption, destruction of Pompeii, 2 continents, fossil evidence, adjacent an intuitive notion, the ring of fire, invisible threat, Gondwana comes together, hypothesis of unity, disunity, a mechanism to match, the theory is found. Which one of these do you believe is the best for this? Yeah, very, very good. Ghost, Herbert, Gursharn, excellent. Amjad maybe just needs a little bit more practice, but everybody who's saying XI, you're bang on, right? It's saying the plates are moving. We figured out, hey, why is all this craziness happening? There are plates moving, plate tectonics, right? Plate tectonics. So number 11, XI for paragraph E. It's fantastic. Again, put it into your answer sheet. Please don't mix it up. Don't do that. That's a 9, okay? So make sure it's an 11. And you'll get 1 more point. All right, here we go with paragraph F. 2 more to go. Read with me. Plate tectonics are not only responsible for mountains and the movement of the continents, they are also responsible for volcanoes. Volcanoes usually result from one of 2 plate configurations. They form in places where the plates are colliding or where the plates are pulling apart. In the first case, the plates come together, pushing against each other, causing friction and heat, which allows some of the crust material to melt, resulting in liquid magma. Because magma is less dense than the surrounding rock, it ends up rising to the surface where it becomes a volcano. An example of this type of volcano is the famous Mount Vesuvius, which destroyed the city of Pompeii in 79 CE. The second type of volcano comes from divergent plates. These types tend to be underwater, as in the mid-oceanic ridges. Volcanic islands, such as Iceland and Hawaii, were formed by underwater volcanic activity, eventually spewing off enough matter to form land above the water. And I'm going to ask you still, what is this paragraph about? But I can see that Farhan says it's magma and volcanoes. Banaz says, that's volcanoes. Kolwan says, that's volcanoes. Pachu says it's volcanoes. Some of you are saying, hey, Adrian, can you just please write the Roman numeral 1? Because we all know it's volcanoes. We paraphrase this as volcanoes. Violent eruptions, magma, lava, and new islands. Volcanoes. Yeah, that's the right answer. Good job, students. Give yourself a pat on the back. Absolutely. Put I for number 18 into your answer sheet. And you've got one more point. You've picked up one more point. One more paragraph to go. Here we are. Conclusion. G. Of course, there is one final important result of plate tectonics. Earthquakes. Earthquakes are perhaps the most terrifying of all natural disasters. They are practically invisible. They happen below the Earth's surface and have devastating results. Earthquakes happen along fault lines, places where two plates are colliding, diverging, or slipping past each other. In the case where the two plates are attempting to slip past each other, the most devastating earthquakes can occur. This is because friction does not allow the plates to pass each other until sufficient energy to counteract the resistance has been built up. So, the two plates rub against each other for centuries or millennia until one day they finally slip. This slip is what results in a sudden catastrophic earthquake. If this slip occurs in the ocean underneath the Earth's surface, it can cause a massive tidal wave known as a tsunami. If this slip occurs directly beneath the major city, massive destruction will result. There are many such cities at risk of these earthquakes, many of them along what is known as the Ring of Fire, surrounding the Pacific Ocean. These cities include Tokyo, San Francisco, Vancouver, and Santiago. Understanding plate tectonics reveals that it is not a question of if these major cities will get hit by an earthquake. It is only a question of when. What is this paragraph about? So, what is G about? It's about the Ring of Fire, not so much. Amrit says it is about the invisible threat. What is it actually about, though, students? Come on, in a more simple way. Thank you, Ferdovs. Ferdovs says, ladies and gents, let's not overcomplicate. It's not rocket science. It's about earthquakes. Okay, so this one is about earthquakes. It is about earthquakes. That's what we're talking about. Let's not overcomplicate. Which one of these matches closest for earthquakes? Which one of these choices is the closest paraphrase for earthquakes? Okay? And for those of you who are saying number 8, absolutely. It's descriptive paraphrasing. An earthquake is an invisible threat. The invisible threat equals earthquake. Okay? Ring of fire is not accurate. Ring of fire can be volcano or volcanic activity. Invisible threat is much more accurate for earthquake. Okay? So if you chose 8, you chose correct. It's descriptive paraphrasing. It describes the word earthquakes. Students, that is the right strategy. That is a strategy that will get you points on the exam. Is that clear? Are you clear now on how to effectively solve list of headings questions? Okay. So are you now clear on what you should do when you see list of headings? Mashu says, nope, I just came. Mashu, good news. This live class is recorded, and in about 1 hour after the class, you can watch it again on the channel, okay? So even if you came late, don't worry. Hong Fu, if there are some new words that you don't understand, just sit down with this video and just translate those words so you increase your vocabulary, okay? All right. Thanks for the feedback, students. I'm glad that many of you got some good strategy and help with this. All right, let's do the true, false, not given together. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. It took over 350 years for the theory and mechanism of continental drift to be fully developed. Is it important for this passage? Is it important, students, for this passage to know the development of the continental drift theory? Is that important to know? For number 20, is it important to know the development of the continental drift theory? This passage is about continental drift and plate tectonics. So yes, it's important. Is it true? So if it's important, then it has to be true or false, okay? So we know that it must be given. So is it true that it took 350 years? Maybe. I don't know. Do you remember? I don't remember. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, let's go back. Okay. Whoa, what do we have here? 300 years. Let's read the sentence. Okay, so I see 300 years. I'm not going to just quickly choose. I'm going to read the sentence. Okay, it starts from here. You see the period. So it starts here. Okay. It would take over 300 years for the theory to be fully developed, and 50 years, 50 years after that for the mechanism of the phenomenon to be discovered. So I have 300 plus 50 equals 350. So 300 plus 50, 350. So it must be true. Simple math, logic, right, students? So therefore, it's true. So in box 20, I put the letter T, and I am golden, okay? So careful, careful. The Earth's crusty shell is made up of plates which slowly float across, or float slowly across the ocean. The Earth's crusty shell is made up of plates which float slowly across the ocean. Is that important? Is it important for continental drift, for plate tectonics? Is it important to know about the Earth's crust and how it moves? Is that important? Yes, it's very important. Thank you, Gaurav, Royal, and Amrit. Yeah, it's absolutely important. Is it true that the shell are plates that float across the ocean? Is it true that it floats across the ocean, these plates? No, it's not true. No, of course not, right? The ocean is on top of the plates. The plates are huge and deep, right? The ocean is on top of it. Ladies and gents, got to know that from your grade 4, grade 5 geography class, okay? So that's false, right? The plates are not on the oceans. It's the other way around. The oceans are on top of the plates, right? Of course. Silly, silly. Could you imagine if the land was just swimming around on the ocean? That would be really strange. All right. Number 22. There is significant evidence that India was once attached to Antarctica. Is it important to know for continental drift that India was attached to Antarctica and there's evidence that India was attached to Antarctica? Did I even read about Antarctica? Nope. It's probably true, but I didn't read anything about it. So, not given. It's too much detail. Okay? And you should remember, at least visually reading about Antarctica. I mean, did you see Antarctica in your mind? Did you see a giant icy continent when you were reading? No, you didn't see a big icy continent when you were reading. You didn't see anything about Antarctica. So, by the way, students, this is a very good example of why you should never skim read true, false, not given before you read the passage. If you read this before you read the passage, then your brain will visualize Antarctica, and it will be a lot trickier to remember whether you read that in the passage or not. I hope that makes sense. So this is a perfect example of why you should not skim read these questions. Okay? All right. Sana, I'm really glad to hear that. I know you're practicing these strategies. Students, Sana is saying your strategy is finally working. Absolutely. So I make it look easy here, students, but I've been teaching IELTS for more than 10 years. These strategies are easy after you practice them several times. If you don't practice them, they're not going to be easy, okay? So don't expect to just watch this class and then be like, hey, no problem, tomorrow's my IELTS, I got it. No, you have to practice, okay? You have to practice, all right? Okay, here we go. Mount Everest is a result of a collision between the Eurasian and Himalayan plates. So Mount Everest, number 23, results from a crash between the Eurasian and Himalayan plates. Is it important to know what caused Mount Everest for the passage? Now this is tricky because it is a detail, but I do remember visualizing Mount Everest because Mount Everest is the biggest, or the highest mountain, I should say, not biggest, but the highest mountain on Earth. So definitely I know that there was something in the text about Mount Everest. So it seems to be important. Okay, so yes, it is important. Now, is it true that Mount Everest was created because the Eurasian plate hit the Himalayan plate? No. Okay, be very careful with words. The Eurasian plate hit the which plate? It's not, there's no plate called the Himalayan plate. It's not called the Himalayan plate. What is it called? So this is false. For all of you who are saying false, yeah, you're correct. The correct answer is false. There's no such plate as the Himalayan plate. Yeah, that's right, for Dobbs. It's the Indian plate, the Indian subcontinental plate. Absolutely. Yeah. The Himalayan mountains, and it's the Indian plate. That's right, Gopi. All right. Okay, we have a few more questions left. Here we go. Number 24, we're matching sentence endings. This is kind of like multiple choice, okay? So plate tectonics results in mountains, volcanoes, and what? Plate tectonics results in mountains, volcanoes, and what else? What else did we read for 24? Don't just choose the answer. Use your brain. Amrit says islands. Yeah. And continents, sure. And magma, yeah, sure, oozing out. And earthquakes, right? So islands, continents, and earthquakes, right, are other side effects or results of plate tectonics. So which one of these matches the closest? The density of common rock and magma, that doesn't make sense. Combination of high temperature, the temperature of crust and mantle, the changing climate of today's earth, the part of the crust lying beneath open water, the motion of the continents. Hey, that looks pretty good. We said continents, right, for our answer, so might as well choose that. F. Okay, volcanoes result from the differences in what? Volcanoes result in the differences. Yep, everybody who's saying F for 24 is correct. Okay. Volcanoes result from the difference in. We don't know that one, students, so don't guess, right? If I don't know this one, if I'm like, I don't know, I'm not a scientist. Maybe Sana knows. She's into geography, but I don't know. That's not my forte. Okay. So I'm going to go back. Which paragraph talks about volcanoes? Where do I have to search for this? Which paragraph talks about volcanoes? Amrit says it was B or C. Right, and we have that from our list of headings. So if I have to go back, okay, B says it was not until 1914. Okay, that doesn't look right. All right, let's see. C, initially Pangea divided into two parts. That doesn't look right. Now here, I would remember which one I answered one for. Remember that violent eruptions, magma, lava, and new islands? That was our answer for one of these questions, and I believe it was D or E. So you would have that in your exam, okay? Actually, we have it at F here. So plate tectonics are not only responsible for mountains and the movement of continents, they're responsible for volcanoes. Okay, so we have it at F. Now again, you would find this very quickly because in your list of headings, you can see that F is I, which means volcanoes, so you know that you have to look at passage F. So use the list of headings question to help you locate information. Is that clear? So use the list of headings question when you do it correctly to locate information, okay? Now, volcanoes usually result from one of two plate configurations, okay? Where the plates are, in the first case, the plates come together, okay? Causing friction and heat, which allows some of the crust material to melt, resulting in magma. Because magma is less dense than the surrounding rock, it ends up rising to the surface where it becomes a volcano. There's my answer. Okay, it becomes a volcano. All right, so magma is less dense than the surrounding rock, so it becomes a volcano. Now this is it's a tricky question, but some of them are testing Band 8, Band 9 students who are often English teachers. So volcanoes result from the difference in, correct answer, according to what we just read. Anybody want to change their mind? Yeah, Gaurav, very good. A is the answer. So volcanoes result from the difference in the density of common rock and magma. So magma comes to the surface, right? So the correct answer is A. Okay. All right, number 26. A tsunami can result from a slip in... How does a tsunami happen? Slip in plates in the ocean, I think, right? When the plates are slipping in the ocean. Which one's the closest? No, not that one. Not that one. Nope. The part of the crust laying beneath open water. Yeah, open water is the ocean. Part of the crust is the plates. So E looks to be the best answer for that one. Hopefully all of you got that. Okay, very good. Good job, Amarwadi. Haun, good job. All right, Sana, that's right. Good job. Okay, so students, that is an academic reading passage, and those are the list of headings, true, false, not given, and matching sentence ending strategies that work. They work every time for every test. If you practice them, you will increase your band score. When you practice them, you can do it quickly and effectively. Okay? To learn many more strategies that are effective for the IELTS exam, check us out on our websites. That's aehelp.com for the academic IELTS. It's this blue background here. Click that red button to join. For the general version of the exam, it's the green background, gieltshelp.com. Click that red button to join. There's over 100 hours of video lessons, an interactive course for your phone, tablet, and PC, as well as 6 original practice tests for you. You can use the code LIVE20 to get a 20% discount when you join our premium course. Students, thank you for sharing your brilliant minds with me today. You are all very clever individuals. Obviously, you are ambitious. You've come to YouTube to join this class to learn from me. That is the right step towards success on the exam and in life. I respect all of you and wish you the best on your test. Hopefully, I will see you tomorrow in class as well. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.